Hello everyone and welcome to France 24. I'm Jeannie Gardula and this is Culture. My guest today is the world-famous pianist and composer Cyprien Katsaris. This French Cypriot musician has led an incredible international career, playing with the world's greatest orchestras and composers. He's been marveling audiences with his magic fingers for the past 40 years, and there's no end in sight. Coming up on August 19th, he'll be in Beijing for a one-of-a-kind concert at the Olympics. Thank you so much for joining us here today. Tell us a bit about this concert. You'll be one of 10 international pianists playing together on stage in Beijing.
Right. The cultural Chinese authorities have selected 10 pianists from all over the world, among them the young Chinese star Lang Lang, to perform a very special concert, Jeannie. This is going to happen in the new Opera House of Beijing, which has been built by the great French architect Paul Andreu, and which costed, I think, $300 million. It took 8 years to build it. And we are supposed to play, each of us, for 10 minutes. And at the end of the concert, all of us will play a concerto for 10 pianos and orchestra, which has been recently composed especially for this event by the Chinese composer Cui Shiguan. And it's very exciting. I don't know how it will sound, though, you know.
And it's a world first, isn't it, to have 10 pianists on stage?
Yeah. Yes.
That's wonderful. Now, you know, Cyprien, I imagine that you've heard this before. There are several artists who decided to boycott the Olympics. Steven Spielberg, the American director, comes to mind. How do you feel about this? Do you have any problem? Does it bother you at all to go play in this country that has such a spotty record when it comes to human rights?
Not at all. And I tell you why. By the way, I'm a big fan of Steven Spielberg. No, I believe more in communication than in boycotts. If I have a disagreement with somebody, I would rather communicate with the person, exchange ideas, and try to solve them, because I do believe that communication is a universal solvent. If you don't communicate and you just boycott, I do understand and I respect that viewpoint, which attracts, of course, the attention on the problem. But personally, not only I don't feel bad about it, but I'm very proud to be able to go there and to discuss about it eventually, you know. And that's it. It's very simple.
All right. Now, you have played in China before. You gave a concert in Shanghai last October. We'll now get a little inside peek at what your concerts are like on stage with this air that I'm sure many of you will recognize, recorded last October in Shanghai. Another world first there, the first time a Latino-American program was played in China.
Probably by, maybe, in any case, by a European pianist. It could be the first time, yes.
Now, this concert you're going to be giving at the Olympics with the 9 other pianists on stage, one of them, as you mentioned, is the young rising Chinese star Lang Lang. What does he represent for you? Is he typical of a new school of classical musicians, would you say?
I wouldn't say a new school, but I would say a new geographical area in piano playing. I heard that in China, they first said there were 55 million people learning piano. Then they said 35 million. It seems to be around 40 or 50 million. Who cares exactly about the figures? I did hear Lang Lang is, of course, a great talent. And he's
very young, just 26.
Very young, 26, and achieving some kind of status of a superstar. However, I have to say that I did listen to some other young Chinese pianists when I gave some master classes in Shanghai, who were at least as good as Lang Lang and who might disappear in the future because the market is so difficult now. You know.
You yourself were very young when you first began playing the piano. Do you remember the first time you ever laid hands on a piano?
Yes. Well, I used to live in a French colony in Africa called the Cameroon, you know, the country Cameroon. And I do remember very, very precisely, I still have the mental image picture when they brought the piano for my sister, who is a little bit older. And I remember exactly where they put it in the living room, and I was attracted like a magnet and tried to play with one finger, the second finger, La Marseillaise, the French anthem.
Now, you also have had a wonderful career since that time. You gave a wonderful concert at Carnegie Hall in 1999 to mark the 150th anniversary of the death of Chopin. Was that a key moment in your career?
Yes. Oh, yes. This was more than a key moment. It was a unique moment, Jeannie.
That you got a standing ovation for, in addition.
Well, too bad for me. What can I say? No, what I mean is that it was a unique moment for several reasons. First of all, the exact day of Chopin's death anniversary, 150 years, the same day of the concert, I did travel from Tokyo, 13 hours traveling, Tokyo, New York. I arrived at noon exactly, at my hotel, and 6:30 I was on stage to try the cameras and the microphones, and we did release a DVD and a double CD of this event. The other thing is that 10 minutes before I went on stage, 8 p.m., I was reading the history of Carnegie Hall, where I played before a few times, but I never read the history. That was the first time, and I got so shocked because I read that this most prestigious hall was inaugurated a 5th of May. I was born 5th of May 51. It was inaugurated the 5th of May 1891 by Tchaikovsky, who conducted his first concert in the United States.
Oh, that's a lovely
So
anecdote.
it gave me an extra energy.
Bit of oomph. Well, Cyprien Katsaris, thank you so much for coming on Culture here today. Here's wishing you all the best at your upcoming concerts in Beijing for the Olympics. That's August 19th and August 21st, because you'll be doing a solo concert as well.
Thank you very much.
Now, as you can imagine, China is hustling to make sure everything is picture perfect, from the stadiums to the cuisine. There'll be over 100 official Olympic restaurants on site, but not all of the athletes will get to try them. Some teams, including the United States, are bringing their own food to avoid any risk of contamination. As for the others, they'll be more than happy to get out their chopsticks and try some real Chinese food.
The upcoming Beijing Olympics could be a great showcase for Chinese savoir-faire, and especially Chinese cooking. And to advertise it right and attract tourists to taste Chinese traditional dishes, authorities have provided restaurants with official translations. And maybe even more important, the next step is to get the dish right. So cookery schools are on high alert to train enough chefs to master the foreigners' favorites, like Kung Pao chicken, or diced chicken fried with chili and peanuts, a dish on Yunyi School's curriculum.
This Olympics offers us a platform, an opportunity to promote ourselves. It's good for our school and also for Chinese cuisine in general.
But there are fears there won't be enough chefs in the Chinese capital during the Games because of restricted access to the city.
Beijing is restricting the number of non-Beijing residents who can enter the city during the Games. Most of the schools inside the third ring road have been told to go on vacation.
Some athletes may miss out on Chinese cooking, since a few countries such as the United States decided to bring their own food to Beijing for the Games. They want to avoid any risk of unintentional doping.
And don't forget, the Olympics kick off on August 8th. We'll leave you with that. Thank you for watching France 24. See you again tomorrow for another dose of culture.